That jar in your pantry you've been trusting for years? It might be quietly sabotaging your health. That natural jam you picked because it looked healthy? Probably loaded with the same processed sweeteners you're trying to avoid. We're about to expose exactly which jams are destroying your breakfast and which ones are actually worth buying. Stick around because number 3 on the avoid list shocked even us. Let's start with the elephant in the room, Smucker's regular strawberry jam. Now, before you say, but we grew up with this, hear us out. We get it. This is probably what your mom bought. It's nostalgic. It tastes like childhood memories. But here's what they don't tell you on those colorful labels. High fructose corn syrup, HFCS, is the second ingredient, right after strawberries. Every tablespoon you spread on your morning toast contains 12 grams of sugar, and 9 grams of those are from added sugars. Now, why does this matter? High fructose corn syrup isn't just another sweetener. When fructose floods your liver, it gets metabolized differently than glucose. Some studies show that excess fructose intake, especially from added sugars like high fructose corn syrup, can contribute to increased liver fat, which over time may raise the risk of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and related metabolic issues. Your liver has to work harder processing this kind of added fructose compared with carbohydrates that are more evenly balanced or slowly digested or come from whole foods. And here's the kicker. You're not necessarily getting a lot of real fruit. Look at the ingredient list. Strawberries, HFCS, corn syrup, sugar, pectin, citric acid. So while there are strawberries, the bulk of the sweetening comes from syrups and sugar. That helps explain why the final jam has a smooth, uniform texture, not many visible fruit chunks or seeds. The real problem, if you will, is that companies like Smucker's use HFCS and other syrups because it's cheap, extends shelf life, and gives a very sweet, consistent product, one that many people come to expect. The result is a product that leans more on added sugar than on whole fruit nutrition. Notice how Welch's calls this a spread instead of jam? That's your first red flag. When food companies avoid traditional names, they're usually hiding something. Welch's strawberry spread contains 11 grams of sugar per tablespoon, and guess what's in there? High fructose corn syrup again. But they're clever about it. They market this as if it's a better option than regular jam, playing on the Welch's brand reputation from their grape juice. Here's what bothers us most. They make a natural version of the same spread that doesn't use high fructose corn syrup, which proves they could have made the original formula better all along. They just chose not to because corn syrup is cheaper. The texture is another giveaway. It's weirdly sticky and gelatin-like, nothing like actual crushed strawberries. That's because pectin and other thickeners are doing the heavy lifting to make processed ingredients feel like real fruit. Our body doesn't know what to do with all that fructose at once. Unlike the natural sugars in whole fruit that come packaged with fiber to slow absorption, this hits your bloodstream fast. Blood sugar spikes, then crashes, leaving you hungry again in an hour. It's a vicious cycle that many people don't even realize they're stuck in. Walmart's Great Value Grape Jelly seems like a smart budget choice. It's cheap, really cheap. An 18-ounce jar costs barely over $2, but you know the saying, you get what you pay for. This jelly has virtually no nutritional value. The ingredient list reads like a chemistry experiment. Grape juice from concentrate, high fructose corn syrup, fruit pectin, citric acid, and sodium citrate. Notice how they list both high fructose corn syrup and regular corn syrup? That's not an accident. The pectin used in many cheap jellies can also affect your digestive system. Some people experience gas, bloating, and abdominal discomfort after eating products heavy in certain types of pectin, especially the powdered form with added starches. But the biggest issue is what's missing: actual grapes. When you use grape juice concentrate as your primary ingredient, most of the beneficial compounds in real grapes are already stripped away. The antioxidants greatly reduced. The natural fiber eliminated. The vitamins mostly destroyed in processing. You're essentially spreading glorified sugar water with purple food coloring on your sandwich. And because it tastes decent, sweet, and familiar, most people never question it. Kids especially get hooked on this stuff, establishing taste preferences that make them crave overly sweet foods for life. The hidden cost of cheap jelly isn't just your money, it's your metabolic health over years of consumption. Before we get to the jams you should be buying, hit that subscribe button if you want more truth about what's really in your food. We're cutting through the marketing lies and showing you exactly what to put in your cart. And comment below which jam on this list was in your kitchen. Be honest. We don't judge, we just inform. The squeeze bottle is genius marketing. No mess, perfect for kids' lunchboxes, squeezes onto sandwiches easily. But that convenience comes at a serious price. A single tablespoon contains 12 grams of sugar, with 9 grams being added sugars. That's roughly 18% of the maximum daily added sugar intake recommended for adults from 1 tablespoon of jelly. Kids eating a PB&J with this are getting a sugar bomb disguised as lunch. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 25 grams of added sugar per day for women and 36 grams for men. 2 tablespoons of this jelly, which is what most people actually use on a sandwich, puts you about halfway to that limit before you've even had lunch. What makes squeeze bottles particularly problematic is that portion control often goes out the window. When you're squeezing instead of spreading, you typically use more. Studies show people consume 20 to 30% more when using squeeze bottles compared to traditional jars with knives. The manufacturers know this. Plus, the formula in squeeze bottles is often slightly different, thinner, requiring different stabilizers and preservatives to maintain consistency. It's engineered for shelf stability in plastic, not nutritional value. Parents grab these thinking they're making school lunches easier, but they're unknowingly setting their kids up for sugar dependency, energy crashes during school, and difficulty concentrating by mid-afternoon. Now this one might surprise you because it's not even a traditional fruit jam. Bacon jam has become trendy, showing up at brunch spots and on charcuterie boards. But Midwest Fresh's version is a health disaster. Each 2 tablespoon serving has 13 grams of sugar, all added sugar, and 280 milligrams of sodium. That's a rare double whammy where a jam manages to disappoint massively on both sugar and salt content. Look at the ingredient list. Sugar is literally the first ingredient. Not bacon, sugar. Then comes bacon that's been cured in salt, adding to the sodium overload. This isn't a savory condiment, it's candy with bacon bits mixed in. The sweet and salty combination is scientifically addictive. Your brain lights up like a Christmas tree when you eat foods that combine these flavors intensely. Food scientists call this the bliss point, the perfect ratio that keeps you reaching for more even when you're full. Using this as a topping for fish, vegetables, or grilled meats isn't elevating those dishes. You're covering up the natural flavors with a sugar and salt explosion that drowns out everything else. It's like putting ketchup on a $50 steak. Bacon jam might sound sophisticated, but it's one of the worst offenders in the jam category. The health risks from regularly consuming products this high in both added sugar and sodium include hypertension, increased heart disease risk, and metabolic syndrome. Crofters is what jam should be. Made in Ontario, Canada, by a German couple who moved there and started making preserves the right way. This isn't some faceless corporation. It's a real company with actual values. The ingredients are refreshingly simple. Organic strawberries and fair trade cane sugar. That's essentially it. No corn syrup, no artificial anything. Just fruit and sugar. The way jam has been made for centuries before industrial food processing took over. The strawberries come from small heritage varieties called Camarosa and Senga Sengana. These are flavor-rich berries with tiny seeds that create a bright ruby color naturally. No synthetic food dyes needed. When you open this jar, you see and taste the difference immediately. At 8 grams of sugar per tablespoon, it's significantly lower than conventional jams, while still tasting incredible. The secret is that real quality fruit is naturally sweet and flavorful. You don't need to dump in corn syrup when you start with actually good strawberries. Crofters is also higher in vitamin C, because they're using real fruit that hasn't been overcooked. The low-temperature processing preserves more of the natural nutrients that disappear when manufacturers blast their products with high heat for shelf stability. Yes, it costs more, but you're paying for real ingredients, ethical sourcing, and a product that nourishes your body instead of working against it. That's worth every penny. Bon Maman has become famous for those adorable jars with the gingham lids. They look like something your French grandmother would have in her farmhouse kitchen. But beyond the Pinterest-worthy packaging, their intense line is legitimately impressive. The tagline says it all. More fruit, 39% less sugar than regular preserves. At just 8 grams of sugar and 35 calories per tablespoon, this hits the sweet spot between flavor and health. What makes it intense? Concentrated fruit flavor. They use more actual strawberries and less filler, letting the natural berry taste shine through without needing excessive sweetener to mask poor quality ingredients. You get that slight tartness that real strawberries have, not just candy sweetness. The texture includes visible fruit pieces and seeds, proof that actual strawberries went into this jar. When you spread it, you can see berry chunks. That's how you know it's real. No high fructose corn syrup, no artificial colors or flavors, just strawberries, sugar, fruit pectin, and citric acid. These are ingredients you can actually pronounce and would use if you were making jam at home. The French have been making preserves for centuries, and Bon Maman follows traditional recipes that prioritize quality over shelf life. Their jars are non-GMO and made without corn syrup, which used to be standard before American food companies decided cheap was better than good. This is perfect for people transitioning away from overly sweet jams. Your taste buds need time to adjust when you've been eating hyper-sweet foods for years. Bon Maman Intense bridges that gap beautifully. Is that gap? Wait, didn't we trash Smucker's earlier? Yes, but their low sugar line deserves credit because they actually fixed the problems. At just 5 grams of added sugar and 25 calories per tablespoon, this is half the sugar of their regular jam. They use fruit pectin instead of loading up on sweeteners, and they completely remove the high fructose corn syrup. This proves they knew all along how to make jam properly. The taste is surprisingly good. You still get strawberry flavor without the sugar overload. It's not quite as intensely sweet as conventional jam, which is actually the point. You start tasting the actual fruit instead of just sugar. The ingredient list includes strawberries, water, fruit pectin, locust bean gum, natural flavor, citric acid, potassium sorbate, calcium chloride, and red grape juice concentrate for color. While there are some stabilizers in here, none of them are particularly concerning, and they serve functional purposes. Lisa Andrews, a registered dietitian, specifically recommends this because cutting sugar in half makes a meaningful difference to your overall diet. If you eat jam regularly, switching from 12 grams to 5 grams of sugar per serving adds up quickly over time. This is also kid-friendly. If your children are used to super sweet jelly, they'll adjust to this within a few days. Their palates adapt faster than you think, and you'll be setting them up with healthier preferences for life. The texture is proper jam. Spreadable, not too runny, with enough body to stay on toast without soaking through. Smucker's might have lost their way with their original formula, but they redeemed themselves with this version. Polaner All Fruit was doing the no added sugar thing before it was cool. This brand has been the OG in the healthy jam category for years, and they've earned their reputation. The magic is in what's not in there. No added sugar beyond what naturally occurs in fruit. They use fruit and fruit juice concentrates to achieve sweetness, letting the strawberries, or whatever fruit flavor you choose, do the heavy lifting. At 8 grams of total sugar per tablespoon, with no added sugars, this is as clean as store-bought jam gets while still tasting good. The sugar you're getting comes from the fruit itself, which means it comes packaged with some of the fiber and nutrients that make fruit healthy. The first ingredient is fruit, not sugar or corn syrup. That might sound obvious, but it's actually revolutionary in the jam aisle. Most brands list sweeteners first because they use more sweetener than fruit. Polaner flips that equation. Registered dietitian Lauren Mahesri specifically recommends Polaner because it's free from corn syrup and artificial sugars while using real fruit that actually tastes delicious. The raspberry variety is particularly fantastic. The texture is smooth and spreadable, perfect for morning toast or mixing into yogurt. It's not chunky like preserves, but it's also not weirdly artificial like conventional jelly. It's somewhere in between, just how jam should be. If you're pre-diabetic, diabetic, or just watching your sugar intake carefully, this is your jam. It won't spike your blood sugar the way high sugar varieties do, and you can feel good about giving it to your kids. For anyone following keto or seriously cutting sugar, Nature's Hollow is the answer you've been searching for. This jam contains less than 3 grams of sugar and only 15 calories per serving. It's sweetened with xylitol, a natural sugar alcohol that doesn't spike blood glucose. This makes it perfect for diabetics, keto dieters, or anyone wanting to eliminate added sugar entirely. The blueberries are organic, and the ingredient list is impressively clean for a sugar-free product. Many sugar-free jams taste artificial or have weird chemical aftertastes. Nature's Hollow avoids that trap by using quality ingredients and xylitol instead of cheaper alternatives like sucralose. Here's something important about xylitol. It's naturally found in fruits and vegetables. Your body handles it differently than artificial sweeteners like aspartame or saccharin. While you shouldn't eat it in massive quantities, moderate consumption is perfectly fine for most people and even has some dental health benefits. The flavor is genuinely good. Wild blueberries provide intense berry taste without needing sugar to cover up inferior fruit. You get that tart, sweet blueberry punch that makes you want to eat it straight from the jar. Not that I've done that, of course. Nature's Hollow also makes mountain berry and apricot flavors, giving you variety without compromising your health goals. Finally, people on restricted diets have real options that don't taste like punishment. One warning: if you're not used to sugar alcohols, start small. Some people experience digestive issues with xylitol if they consume large amounts suddenly. But a tablespoon or 2 on toast is typically fine for most people. This is what innovation in the food industry should look like: making products healthier without sacrificing taste or creating frankenfood with 47 unpronounceable ingredients. If this video opened your eyes, share it, especially with parents who might be unknowingly putting sugar bombs on their kids' breakfast plates. Hit the like button to help others see which jams are worth buying and which ones are quietly sabotaging their health. Comment below, which of these jams was sitting in your fridge right now? Don't worry, we've all been there. Half of these were in my kitchen before I knew better. Subscribe to the channel for more truth about what's hiding in your pantry, and watch the next video where we dive into peanut butter. Because yes, they've messed that up too. Stay sharp and stay healthy.